Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Olakunrin. I represent Ondo Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, my motion is on the state of insecurity in the nation and quarrelsome murder of Mrs. Funke Olakunrin, daughter of Pa Ruben Fashoranti, the non-Nigerian leader of Afenifere, on 12 July 2019 from Ondo Central Senatorial District by some armed gang and kidnappers along Akure-Ore Lagos Highway. Mr. President, the Senate notes the rising level of insecurity in our nation and the deplorable incessant killings of kidnapping of people by some criminals through incessant bush attack on our major highways. Further notes, the quarrelsome murder of Mrs. Funke Olakunrin, daughter of Pa Ruben Fashoranti, the non-Nigerian leader of Afenifere, on Friday, 12 July 2019, by some armed gang who opened fire on her vehicle and other commuters at Kajola-Ore Road in Ondo State. Recall that there have been a series of such attacks on commuters on the Bini-Ore-Shagamu Express Road, Ife, Ilesha, Akure Road, Kaduna-Abuja Express Road, Akure-Owo, Ikare-Okene Road, Akure-Ikere-Ekiti, and Ado-Ekiti Road, some parts of Edo State and Eastern Axis, among other major highways across the Federation in recent times, as widely reported in the dailies and social media. Mr. President, the Senate is alarmed that many travelers on our roads now feel largely insecure because of fear of attack and kidnapping by gunmen who carries out assault on innocent law-abiding citizens on a daily basis on the highways. Distinguished colleagues, it has now become unsafe for anybody with flashy cars or big cars to travel from Akure to Lagos or Abuja because of the fear of being attacked at major highways with potholes not maintained by FEMA, and hence this has hiked the price of air transportation from an average of 25,000 for 30 to 50 minutes flight duration to Abuja and Lagos to over 45,000 in recent times. Senate is worried that the deplorable state of insecurity on this express road has now reached an alarming state and has significantly eroded peace and free movement of people, with palpable fear and rising tension across the nation, thus giving several scathing speculative analysis in the media about the state of the nation. Deeply concerned, Mr. President, that these frequent insurgencies may soon result into breakdown of laws and order on ethno-communal clashes in the southern part of the country if adequate measures are not taken to fish out the perpetrators of these criminal acts and bring them to book accordingly. Mr. President, Senate is also concerned that despite the assurances received from the security agencies that they are on top of the situations, the existing security measures in place has not effectively and satisfactorily addressed the security challenges in many parts of the country. Accordingly resolved, 1. Observe 1 minute silence in honor of Mrs. Funke Olakunrin and many other Nigerians known and unknown who died in similar circumstances in recent times across the country. 2. Draw the attention of the federal government to the continued rising level of insecurity and tension in different parts of the nation and cries of citizens over the incessant armed attack on major highways, with many lives lost in the several attacks. 3. Urge the federal government to know that the prevailing problem of insecurity has created serious issues of social protection, with its attendant adverse effect on business circle, and most significantly, Mr. President, on the lamentable state of the nation's economy, since no foreign investors will be interested in moving their funds into risk areas where there are incidents of major breakdown of law and order. 4. Unequivocally condemn the gruesome murder of Mrs. Funke Olakunrin by the unknown gunmen and commiserate with the family of the non-Nigerian father of elder statesman Pa Ruben Fashionati on the griefs of the loss of his daughter in the unfortunate gun attack. 5. Call on the Inspector General of Police to urgently spread his dragnet to apprehend the culprit in the killing of Mrs. Olakunrin and other cases of attacks and kidnapping and bring them to justice accordingly. 6. Urge the service chief to urgently review the scope and reassess the operational roles of the security forces to effectively combat the different criminal activities in the country, especially the recent increase in highway attack and kidnapping of commuters on our major roads. 7. Call on the service chief to urgently commence crisscrossing operational patrols of the major highways with appropriate technologies to stem the prevailing high rates of kidnapping, armed robbery, attacks, and assassination that daily occur on our major highways. 8. Urge the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, to accelerate action in maintaining potholes on major federal highways across the country where most of the perpetrators of this evil act of kidnapping and attacks or innocent citizens always hide to kill at will. 9. Also urge the state governors and local government chairmen across the country to cooperate and collaborate with the needed logistics in their respective states and local areas in this respect. Finally, Mr. President, number 10, direct the Budget Office, the Senate Committee on Appropriation and Defense, when constituted, to ensure that necessary funds are allocated in the 2020 appropriation bill for the operations of joint patrol of armed forces with other security agencies. I so move, Mr. President.
Mr. President, my name is Tolu Odebi. I represent the good people of Ogun West, and I hereby second the motion ably moved by my good friend, distinguished Senator Ayo Akinyelure. I hereby second. Mr. President, I rise this morning upset and a bit angry. Angry because, Mr. President, we have come here several times, we have discussed severally, watching how innocent Nigerians are being killed left and right. Mr. President, I grieve this morning because the family that just lost a daughter, a sister, is one that is very close to me. But, Mr. President, more importantly, we cannot sit idle and watch as innocent Nigerians are going about their daily lives and they're being killed left and right, be it by hoodlums, be it by bandits, or whatnot. We have to demand, Mr. President, an action by our security forces. We have to demand an action by the presidency. We need to stand up and find a solution to this problem, Mr. President. Mr. President, there is nothing that we do here that pales if we don't get our security situation right in this country. Only last week, we discussed here the issue of the Continental Free Trade Agreement, and all to my surprise, Ghana has now been made to be the headquarters of this Continental Free Trade Agreement headquarters. This is a major loss for this country, Mr. President. Economically, it has major impact, and these are the implications that happens when you don't get your security situation right. It has major economic impact for this country. And we cannot watch every day, coming here, mourning, grieving, having 1 minute of silence, as innocent Nigerians are being killed and no action is being taken. There's a feeling of hopelessness, helplessness, that one is feeling that nothing we do here has effect. So, Mr. President, I urge the Senate to rise up. If we need to send a delegation to the presidency, to sit down with them, to find out what exactly is going on, what action plan are we taking to resolve this matter. Apart from the security situation, there must be also other plans, be it political, to bring all the various groups together and find a permanent solution. Alternative security arrangements need to be made immediately to resolve all this matter. So, Mr. President, I fully support this motion that is moved this morning, and I hope the Senate will rise up and we'll come to a conclusion today and find a solution to this problem. Thank you.
It's really unfortunate that Mrs. Olakunrin's life was taken abruptly at a very prime age. I use this opportunity to express my condolence to the family. What has happened is not a targeted killing as far as I'm concerned. It's a chance occurrence, and it will have happened to any of us. What this has done is to heighten the problem of insecurity in this nation. And I believe that we all have the role to play in ensuring that that normality is restored. Mr. President, what I would not want to subscribe to is that this is being perpetrated by a particular ethnic group. From the various reports that we have received in this chamber, Igbos have been killed, Yorubas have been killed, Fulanis have been killed, Hausas have been killed. So we must not succumb to the insinuation that what is happening is being perpetrated by a particular ethnic group. About 2 weeks ago, there was kidnapping in the creek, in the river area of Ondo State, in a town called Agadagba. The perpetrators were arrested, and they were found to be indigents of the state. So I want to plead that we should approach this thing maturely and encourage government, the security agencies, to find lasting solution to this problem. The Vice President, when he visited Ondo State, suggested the establishment of community policing, which I think will help to a great extent in minimizing the menace of kidnapping and this killing. Of course, we all agree that those who are involved, if they have very good jobs, if they have meaningful means of employment, they may not be involved in these nefarious activities. So government also have to address the problem of unemployment, which I think is a major issue in this very big problem. Again, I want to use this opportunity to express my support for this motion and to express my condolence for the bereaved family. Thank you, Mr. President.
Distinguished colleagues, I'm very angry about what happened because Mrs. Olakunrin was my classmate in the primary school in the late 60s. We grew up together, and it's so sad. But the issue is this. We come here every day to complain about people dying, insecurity, but we need the solution. The solution is my concern. Now we are passing the buck to federal government, that federal government should do this, should do that. What about those of us that are here? Can't we offer a solution? From my own end, it's very obvious that our internal security is in shambles. It's nothing to write to be proud. They've not even started anything at all. We don't have any internal security, so we cannot even be talking of next level. I believe we need a robust conference on our security arrangements in this country. Because now we are talking about someone that was killed on Friday. What about those people that we don't even know? If we ask Federal Ministry of Statistics to provide us with information, I'm sure we will be so alarmed. So my take is this: we cannot be coming here and be complaining and be passing the buck to federal government. It's beyond federal government. All of us must rise up. We must cry out, and we must all sit down together and address this issue. When you talk to Nigerian police, they will tell you that because there is army outside. When you talk of, when you talk of Nigerian army, they said our policing is not good. But let us come together and arrange a robust internal security so that an average Nigerian can be guaranteed of his or her safety. Thank you.
First and foremost, I would like to extend my condolences to all the families of Nigerians that have lost their lives through such acts, especially the most recent one of the daughter of the Afenifere leader. We are all Nigerians, and we have seen what has been going on. So many less privileged ones have also been shot and killed. You go to our villages, especially in my own constituency, where you can hardly get 50,000 naira in a household. But these people are massacred. This is a phenomenon that should not be centered within the elite class. The masses are suffering seriously, but the federal government have also done something. If you recall, federal government have set up different kind of bodies like the Sharandaji and others to face this menace. Just as the last speaker said, it is going to be a responsibility of all of us. We shouldn't center it, and we should not try as much as possible to make it look as if it is a particular set of people that do this thing. I have seen where they said these are herdsmen. But at the end of the day, after the arrests, they were not Fulani people. They were not Hausa people. They were from different parts of the country. Some of them are not even Nigerians. So the issue is that federal government has a responsibility to protect lives and properties. We also have responsibility to look at our environment and see what we need to do. What is that thing that we need to do? The community policing that we are talking about is very important. Community policing is not sectional. Community policing is for all Nigerians. So I will call on the federal government, I will call on the Senate, I will call on all the security agencies to come together, aggregate all the resources and all the resolutions that have been taken before now to see how they can come up with a holistic approach that will solve these problems. We cannot solve it at once. It must be gradual. And I believe that the federal government and some of the state governments are doing their best to tackle this. This is my own.
Distinguished colleagues, motions. And I believe that the security situation is all over the country. It is unfortunate that we had this incident. I will therefore suggest, like some of our colleagues in their presentation mentioned, we should have one robust national summit on the security situation of this country. So instead of taking more time on this, we'll go through the prayers and then try to arrange for the National Summit on Security to address this situation. So I will go to the prayers, and there are 10 of them. Prayer 1. Observe a 1-minute silence in honor of Mrs. Funke Olakunrin and many other Nigerians, known and unknown, who died in similar circumstances in recent time across the country. Those in support of this prayer say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2. Draw the attention of the federal government to the continuing rising level of insecurity and tension in different parts of the nation and the cries of the citizens over the incessant armed attacks on the major highways, with many lives lost in the several attacks. Those in support of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. Is it amendment? Amendment, Minority Leader.
Thank you.
Those in support of the amendment to prayer 2, that it be merged with prayer 3, say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So prayer 3 will be urge the federal government to note that the prevailing problem of insecurity had created serious issues of social protection with attendant adverse effect on business cycle and more significantly on the lamentable state of the nation's economy, since no foreign investors would be interested in moving their funds into high-risk areas where there are incidents of major drawback, breakdown of laws and order, and of course, march with the prayer 2. So the new prayer 2, in this case, will be the merged prayer 2 and 3. Those in support of this amendment say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The prayer 4 will now be prayer 3. Unequivocally condemns the gruesome murder of Mrs. Funke Olakunrin by the unknown gunmen and commiserate with the family of the nonagenarian father and elder statesman Pa Ruben for sovereignty on the griefs of the loss of his daughter in the unfortunate gun attack. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 4 will be call on the Inspector General of Police to urgently spread his dragnet to apprehend the culprits in the killing of Mrs. Olakunrin and other cases of attacks and kidnappings and bring them to justice accordingly. Those in support of this prayer say aye. Is it amendment? Senator Bikule Amosun.
Ibikunle Amosun, I represent Ogun Central. I want to speak in the same line with the minority leader. I think we can put together 5, 6, and 7. You will just call on the Inspector General of Police, the service chiefs, the Inspector General of Police, the service chiefs, and we ask them to do the same thing that was mentioned in all the 3. And I think we can put 5, 6, 7 together, and it will still get the same result, so that we won't lose track of what we wanted to do.
Motion, amendment that we merge prayers 4, 5, and 6. Say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So prayer 4, 5, and 6 will now be prayer 4. Prayer 8 will now be prayer 5. Prayer 5 reads, urge the Federal Road Maintenance Agency FEMA to accelerate action in maintaining potholes on major federal highways across the country, where most of the perpetrators of the evil act of kidnappings and attacks on innocent citizens always hide to kill at will. Those in support of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 6, new prayer 6, that is prayer 9. Also urge state governors and local government chairmen to cooperate and collaborate with needed logistics in their respective states and local areas in this respect. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The last prayer, which will be prayer 7 now, new prayer 7, direct the Budget Office, the Senate Committees on Appropriation and Defense, when constituted, to ensure that necessary funds are allocated in the 2020 appropriation bill for the operations of joint patrol of armed forces with other security agencies. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, let me once again mention that the security situation in the country is perverse, and every part of the country has one story or another to tell of the situation. So it will be the duty of the Senate to hold an all-encompassing and all-inclusive National Summit on Security, including the executive arm of government, of course, because we have to work together with them to ensure that we address this situation. And therefore, the different and various interventions alluding to those will be taken into real consideration, and we have to observe the 1 minute silence now. May the souls of Mrs. Funke, Olakunrin, and many other Nigerians known and unknown who died in similar circumstances rest in perfect peace. Amen.